Hi guys,
Hi
today I'm going back to Nigeria, but before I go, I'm doing a quick mukbang with my friends. We're eating noodles and shawarma, and this is really spicy. She made it. But while we're doing all that, we're just going to be talking about culture shock, moving from Nigeria to America, and things that we experienced. So Yvette is starting off, and then we'll probably just like go from there.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Yvette. I think the first thing that really shocks me was how everybody talks a lot. You don't know me, I don't know you. I tell you a life story. Like I'll literally see like a random woman on the road. And she's telling me that okay, she has married for how many years? She's expecting a baby.
Oh my god, if somebody's pregnant, they'll be like, oh my
My dear is a girl, is a this
One woman
I don't
was
care.
telling me my granddaughter is giving birth to yes, I'm going to a different state. I'm like, they will not even tell you that they're pregnant. Don't hide. Because like, why?
Because you guys don't have much I was that I will go down.
No, but actually, even here, you know, in how we're now getting used to it. In Nigeria, normally nobody will know when we are traveling. But here, half of Fisk knows when we are traveling. Actually,
So,
I also think that it's a weird balance because regardless of the fact that people talk so much, they actually mind their business. Like, people get really chatty if you're in an Uber or something. You guys will talk a lot, but they don't do it. They never judge. But I feel like in Nigeria, random people will not walk up to you. Like if you're shopping in the mall or something, or if you take an Uber, everybody's minding their business. But it's fucking Nigerians, we still don't mind our business. Like, low-key, we actually still don't mind our business.
It's more annoying in Nigeria because
they're really chatty, but they still respect you, mind your business. Like, speaking of that, I think with regards to school, something that shocked me was how there was this exam mode in school where in Nigeria when classes, when you're getting closer to exam period, everybody is just serious, like you just know, like no parties till after exam and everything. But here, my first semester, there was like a whole week of activities and parties before exams.
Yeah, before exam.
And I was shocked. So it's the fact that you can literally like have your nails on, do your makeup and everything. You're going for a party, but you just quickly come to class to write your exams, and nobody is disturbing you. Nobody is like, "What's that on your nails? What's that?" She's dying. Do you need milk?
Yes.
Personally, another culture shock I had was just I think most of mine related to school because most of my first year I just stayed on campus. I didn't go out as much, but I think for me it was how like classes were structured and how like over the year there's that breakdown. I was just used to you have one major test that's like 30% and your exams like 70%, but more or less your exams are like 20-25%, and then the rest of the semester you're doing exams, quizzes, assignments, projects that build up to the other like 80%. So it's good and bad.
It
It's
makes
good
it
and
more
bad
stressful
because it means that attendance. I mean, I think attendance is in Nigeria, so but
like
it's
it's
not
not working.
Yeah, it means you're
But then
constantly
nothing
working.
weighs too much. So if you miss one thing, you can always make up for it.
True. I think it's good and bad. It's good in the sense that you're building your grades up little by little by little. So it's not like just if I flop this exam, there are people who fail the exam in Nigeria and you know it's an automatic carryover just because you've gone below 50. But I think that it's very stressful because that means you have to show up. You know how maybe you have down seasons where for a week or two you're really tired. Or more, you'll be crying, but do that assignment that is due as you're
No, see,
crying.
there's some days that you don't finish crying, but you just remember that you have something to do by 11:59. You have to stand up. And you, in the midst of your tears, if you like clean your tears, if you like don't clean your tears, do the
I have this
assignment.
video of her on my phone where she was videoing herself. She would now smile. And then she don't cry, and then she don't smile back, and then tell people like you just have to put in that work because oh my god. Oh, for me,
Tough, keep going. You keep going talking.
that's not what they said. Oh, I mean, I feel like the first thing I did was like saying sorry. Because I say sorry a lot. Even if I'm like, I don't hit you or anything, like I'm talking and I make a mistake or I just say sorry and they're like, oh, you're good. Like, that's not you. Like, someone hit, like, fell or something and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they're like, it's not you. Like, just, I was like, I'm still getting used to not saying sorry so much. I feel like it's very funny, and I feel rude for not saying
funny
sorry
thing
when
that-
stuff happens.
The funny thing that if someone falls near me, the person that will come out of my mouth is a way.
Actually,
Yeah.
So
I usually laugh though. Like someone literally felt something in the cafeteria, right? And I was literally laughing. Like people were looking at me because I was loudly laughing. So to combat that, and I went to help the person, right? And that's
Oh my God.
pick up the stuff because I was literally really laughing. So that's side though.
One for me, oh God, just say.
No, go on. I saw that. Talk about.
One for me is that how they behave in class. Okay, so it's how in Nigeria it's very strict. Like being in class, you have to compose. You say, well, these people can actually get up in the middle of class, like not even at the end, in the middle, and leave. And teachers are not even worried about it.
Is the teacher
Like,
surprised
the
when you're
teachers-
trying to ask, like, I want to play?
Like if you ask the teacher that,
why
oh, can I
you
go out?
asking
They're looking at you like, of course you can go out. Go out.
And I
Don't
think,
come back. If I don't come for class, it's really your daddy's business. Truth be told.
I think piggybacking off what you just said, is the right to time. Okay, that's one
Yeah.
thing. When they say 11 o'clock, actually show up by 11 because they're expecting you to be there by 11. Right. And I think that there's that sense of, how we are like Nigerian time or African time, like we just do everything in our own time. You see something is 11, people show up at 11:30 or 12. It's actually not a thing here. And so there's this sense of, I'm entitled to my time. And so if they say class is 11 to 11:45, by 11:45 the lecturer is not done talking, but people start closing their laptops, they're packing their bag, and the lecturer is like, oh, I know we're at time. Like they actually apologizing, and I'm like,
What?
In Nigeria, you're living. What's your matric number?
honestly, like
Like,
this one time,
your
the
friends
person
that
actually
call-
put up their hand and they were like, oh, we're at time, and the lecturer is apologizing, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, hey.
Or even coming to school with your nightwear. I feel like
No, that's
oh my God.
crazy.
Usually
Nobody
out of
cares.
bed and in
That's
class.
Nobody cares.
Like everybody's minding their business, and
No.
nobody cares.
And it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
It's a vibe, but like
you go to
I still
class on
can't do it
Saturday.
because I do.
No,
very.
I would not do
funny to
it, but
me.
like it's a
What's
vibe.
that?
I mean,
Yeah,
I would
how
do it,
much
but not to
freedom
class.
there
I
is
do
in
it to like the calf or
I
something.
don't think I'll
right?
ever come out
Like on a
of
Saturday.
midnight.
I've come at my night before to the calf, but not to class. That's taking it too far. As far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Personally, this food there, I feel like this was an attack on me by Amara. Because what kind of thing is this?
I'm going up on eating the noodles. I'm just eating shawarma.
Yes, I feel like I'll drop this in a guide with
So I'm the only one. I'm the only soldier.
Soldier.
Last man standing.
Humanity's
Stand
savior.
strong.
Like another thing I've noticed, right, is how like I mean this one's not really a culture shock because I already saw it in their movies, but like how respect is not really a thing for elders here. Not like it's not a thing, but like
And I
not
like-
like the way
I don't like it.
we respect elders. I like it, but I don't like it.
I like
In
it
the sense that,
sometimes.
yes,
It
because
makes
sometimes they
sense
take it too
sometimes.
far.
I think that in Nigeria there's this like false sense of respect where like how
No
you have
matter what.
aunties that, or maybe you don't have, but there's this way that people would say, oh, auntie this, but literally insult that auntie in the back. That's a
Yes,
false sense of
that's
respect
false
because you're just doing eye service. So I don't like that, right? But in the sense of knowing that this person is elderly and actually according them that respect, is the fact that here it's almost like you're on your rights for everything. So regardless of the person's age, status or anything, you just like talk to them anyhow. So I'm like, it's good to know like when you're right, and it's good to not let people like trample on you. But there should be a balance to it where like there's a fine line where you're just being rude. Like there are times I see people and I'm like, that's just plain you being very rude and like it's unnecessary. Well, I think another thing that shocked me, which I knew about, I feel like we know, everybody, even before you travel, you know that
That's
like
a different experience
they talk about
that you
the
see
weather
in
and all that stuff. But something that shocked me was how when we first came, around 11 p.m. it will be so bright. Like you can be walking,
During the
you are seeing
summer,
everything. And I was like, oh, that makes sense because that's why people are out, that's why people work 2 jobs because it's literally like afternoon. But then there's this switch, the switch is like this. You sleep
No,
one
cause
night, you wake up the next
and
day
it's
and
dark
it's
by
cold. It gets very cold, and then when it's like
By 4
when it's
p.m.,
4:59, everywhere's like this. By 5 it's like midnight.
It's very
Like midnight.
it's
So there's that switch, and then in that you have to know because you just realize that at some point in the semester it gets so dark that when you have evening classes, it feels like you should be
Night.
sleeping. Yeah, it feels like you should be sleeping, but
Yes.
you actually have classes. So just Get
Like
that.
me this semester. Or don't say something.
And like what Yvette said about like respect for elders is how they call elders here by their name.
Yes.
Yo. Like you shocked
You
me.
know, in Nigeria, whether they are related to you or not related to you, you're calling them auntie something, Mrs. something, uncle something.
And if
But
they-
here, I call you by your first name, John, Beatrice.
If you call the
whatever.
Nigerian professor, I feel by then you're that other professor.
Oh my God.
What is your? I don't know.
Nigerian
Like,
professors, they carry that title on their head.
you call them.
Yeah.
You can call me now. Even give you short form of the name, short form. I was like, that was
Even like
that
our
was
counselor,
something.
right? The first time I like met her and she was like, call me by my name, and I was just like, ma,
It's okay.
No, but she just sent
Good.
email or do now to be like, oh, some of you call me ma, and like, don't call me ma, call me by my
Call me by
name.
my first
Up
name.
till today, only still
Like,
says
it's not like-
good evening.
Don't call me by my last name. Call me by my first name. Like, that's like.
So the final thing we're going to talk about regarding culture shock is one that everybody, I think it's the
And they're not
first,
even a moment.
I think it's like one of the first that strikes you, and it's like everybody can resonate to it when you travel. They tell you you just don't know like what it feels like until you experience it, and it's the fact that we don't eat the same type of food.
Oh.
Like the food is so different.
So different, guys. I cried. First of all,
Yeah.
the first week when I was like, I literally did it. I lived off cake and
Apple
pizza
juice,
and apple
pizza.
juice because that was the only thing I could relate to in the car. And I'll call my sister, I'm like, they're giving me your egg, they're giving me this and that. And I'm like, it's not raw, it's this and that. But I just couldn't get myself around it. And then for the longest time, I had to order, like, she had to order food for me, like, food online. And that's what I was living off. And then I had to just, like, get myself around it, like, small. And I remember, like, Valentine's Day when we now ordered food from you, because every small opportunity we got to, like, eat African food would be such a great thing to us because,
Yeah.
oh my god, because it was a privilege
yeah,
that you take for granted.
So I think that the day I left Nigeria, somewhere in my head, I was like, okay, you're leaving home now, things are going to change. I had to be open. Like on my flight from Nigeria, they served me fried rice, and when I was in Nigeria, I never ate fried rice. But then I was like, oh, you don't have a choice now. You're going to need to be open to new things. But my choco, because in being open to new things, there are times you were, and like, how will you fry okra?
Oh
open.
god,
But then I'm trying here.
Can you
How
try?
dry okra?
You cut okra, you dip it in flour, and
And
then
you flour,
and that
and
seems
fried.
right to you.
and the rice
Fried.
is fried okra.
I was surprised. I was really surprised. I can never forget how we thought it was like chicken nuggets or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I still have that video on my Snap. They made me like some months ago, like a year ago today, because we were shook. Really.
and I think that
You
then
get
as
the
time
system.
goes by, like it's tough to like get used to at first. And I think that also another thing that does is how there's like very likely to be massive weight gain because you're eating like a lot of new things and a lot of them are like fattening. Like the staple food here is like burger, fries, pizza, and that's what like is readily available.
They serve
So
pizza and burger
every day in the cafeteria. You
I
just have
practically
that
eat
there.
fries every
And
day.
then when you're eating all of that, you're in a new environment. So there's this massive weight gain, and so all of a sudden you're just like, oh my god, how did I go from here to here? Like, what's
Freshman
going on?
15.
Freshman 15.
Freshman 15.
That's what we call it.
So that's something, and then I think it's like navigating it eventually. Like with time, I think you get like a hang of it because you find things. We found noodles, we make it, put like atagimu and all that stuff, dry pepper.
I won't put the pepper, but they will put the pepper.
But you find ways to navigate around it, find things that's like are closer for you. It's like home, and then you just, I don't know, you
Make
and
it
then
better.
if you're like me, move off campus and cook your own.
Your own food. That's like
Yeah.
the best thing you could do.
Okay, so to wrap up this video, since I'm going home, I'm going to ask you guys to tell me. We've spoken about culture shocks, like things that were very different to us coming here. But I'm just going to ask you guys to tell me like what are the top 3? Because I know like it's definitely a long list of things that you miss in Nigeria. But like if you could say 3 things that like maybe if you could take from Nigeria and bring here, like what would it be?
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing, I appreciate the fact that I have family here, and it has made it made it very easy for me to actually transition from like the beginning. From the beginning. But it's the fact that I'm living with these people every single time. Like, I said, I'm in school or I'm with them, and I'm not used to it. Like, I hardly had sleepovers when I was like growing up at home and everything. It was when my last year, I stayed with my aunt for some time because I was like in a program that needed me to be close to the program. Long story, but if I could bring something from Nigeria, I'll definitely bring my mom and my dad like to stay here with me because I have seen a lot. Living people like it's a lot to adapt to, like living in someone's house, having to do stuff the way they do that you're not used to. I grew up 19 years doing something different, and you're telling me it's not right because you don't do it that way. That's one thing that I've had to like deal with. Another thing, I mean, okay, who wants to go next? I feel like
me, I would say, I think if I could bring something from Nigeria, I'm a very on the family, right? But I'll say food. Like how if it was possible for us not to necessarily like for us not necessarily buy food that is so expensive. Like it's not like you can't find Nigerian food here, but it's so expensive. Either you're buying or you're making, it's still expensive. Either way, like just that I mean it's easier to like it's less expensive to make.
How did we go to buy food? Raw ingredients.
As a group.
We spent almost $1,000 in one shop.
What are you buying? Is it for
For what? Is it for Eba? Is it for Gary? Is it for beans? I don't know.
Literally, none of us here are working. So, the money coming from?
Like,
oh my god, like it's so expensive to buy.
and speaking of like buying, right, is how there's no store. Like that's another culture shock.
Oh,
like,
another culture shock. You just order everything.
like there's nothing like streets like
Amazon
shopping. There's no
Kiosk.
chaos. There's no
Like,
yeah.
You
You're
have to
not
go
going
big
to
there to buy Sprite.
Actually, I
You
can
have
go
to
to Walmart now.
Walmart. You have to go.
Walmart would be
The
like
closest
15
thing was
minutes away.
$family dollar.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's like
And that's 20
10
minutes
minutes
walk.
drive. Yeah, it's like a 20 minutes walk. Like 10
Yeah, you have to like
Yeah.
do your shopping in bulk,
In
right?
bulk.
Yeah.
So if you're buying groceries and
Like,
stuff,
can't
if
you
you're
just
so you
step
have the
out?
option. I think what I like is that you have the option to either go in store
And
or
you can
order
order
online.
online.
Like I think in Nigeria, ordering online is definitely not reliable. So
Yeah.
you don't have that option. But I like the fact that there's an option here. So if you choose to order online, you know, you do like bulk ordering and then you just get all your things one place one time. But then if you choose to go in person, I think it's like you go in person, buy everything. You're not buying one bottle of water. You buy half and you buy it like that just over a period of time. So that's
What would I bring? What would I bring from Nigeria? Well, part of my family.
behind. She's not
I'll bring my family. I'll bring them, but like I'll keep them very far. Like they can't easily just fly
Come
to
on,
me
see me.
or
do you
drive.
want them or do you not want them?
Yeah, do you want to
I think for Nigeria, I'll bring food. Like I just want to eat amala. I want to eat amala that I did not make. So I'll definitely bring food. The second thing, so I think okay, maybe not necessarily bring, but the second thing I miss that I really miss a lot is so I had this when I was in Nigeria, if I wanted to make my hair, I'll go to the salon, get everything done, like wash my hair. I miss the salon experience. That's one of the first things I'm going to do when I get to Nigeria. So I think that's something we didn't even mention in culture shock, but like
I hate doing my hair
braiding
myself.
your hair.
I hate washing my hair. I hate drying my hair.
All
I
these
can't
things
even
are
braid
super
my hair
expensive.
myself.
Like you
Yeah,
can't just
everything you do with your hands, basically, like we call it
Yeah.
share or
So
what.
I think it's good
more
and bad.
expensive here. It's
I think
good for the
it's
people
good
that
because
do
like it means there's dignity of people
Like,
here. So
yes.
regardless of what you do,
So,
like,
like,
you're a
yes,
hairdresser,
you
but
get
like someone can
yes,
just
who am
someone
I?
can just walk into your salon. They have to book an appointment.
Yeah.
Do you get? So there's
And
dignity
they're
of
paying
people
a lot.
regardless of what you do. So those
Yeah,
people are able to
yeah.
afford like a good lifestyle for themselves as well. So I think that I would definitely like bring my whole salon treatments and all that. I miss that basically. And then last but not the least, I wouldn't even just say family because for me, I have like really close friends, family, my church. Like I think what I would just bring is that whole like we have this sense of community in Nigeria. You're never alone. You never have to do things alone. People show up for you. So I would just bring that whole sense of community. So those are three things I think that I miss the most.
What are you scared of going back to? Like something I've adapted to here. That is
Oh my
different
god.
from-
Families don't take lights.
No, hold on.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
know.
Like,
Hold on.
see,
It's
it's
stressful.
stressful. And then, so normally when traffic lights is red, you get there and then you wait like 1 minute or something and then it turns green and then you move. But then for some reason, I don't know what happened before we got there, but there was like a whole build up. So we had to stay at the traffic lights twice, which is like very unusual. And I just remember looking down and I'm like, what's the meaning of this? Like, why are we waiting for like 5 minutes? And I just thought to myself, oh, you're going to Lagos from the airport like this. So I think I'm going to be so shocked by like the traffic. I think that's something because if you want to go anywhere, you never have to like think that there's like so much hold on. I also think with like lights, I've never like seen there like no lights. So I don't know how to charge my phone anymore. I only charge my phone when the battery is low. I iron my clothes when I'm about to leave because I always. So I think these are things that might shock me when I
and that thing that will shock me is like how some other people don't mind their business and ask questions that why did you add so much weight? What happened to your face? What did
I'm not going to ask that.
Like, I'm going to be throwing hands. I'm going to be throwing hands.
Because
like,
I mean,
don't ask me. I added weight. Did I kill anybody?
I think that
don't I look in the mirror?
In conversations, we might come off as a bit more chatty. Just because I think we've learned now to like just talk to people, meet people that actually talk and converse. But the fact that I'm talking to you, but I just expect that you actually respect and just have boundaries. And so I expect that you don't like try to pry and be like, oh, what's going on with your face or what's like. So I don't know, but I think that's something that might just happen in Nigeria. Your family member just be like, what's this on your face and stuff like that. So,
not to family, they'll see you on the road. Like, I don't know you. Why are you talking to me? Like, mind your business. Mind your damn business. Like, what? No. What else?
And I think it's bad internet connection. The fact that I have to take some exams from home. I'm like, oof. So I don't know. Like, I think bad internet because let that thing like YouTube. If YouTube and Netflix start buffering, I'll just be like, God, I beg.
It just depends. Network, and even if the internet, the network can but if it starts raining, go.
Oh no.
Like true. So, and then there's no DSTV when it starts raining, so well, I'm really looking forward to going to church though. So we've come to the end of this video. We had so much fun shooting this, but we have to rush because I have to run. The right
deeper. And I'm going to meet her next week.
Yay!
Yes, rub it in our faces.
But we have to end this video now. We've had so much fun shooting this, but like, share,
subscribe.
We love you.
Peace out.
Where you going? Home. Where's home?
A place where I can go to take this off my shoulders. Someone take me home. Home. A place where I can go to take this off my shoulders. Someone take me home.
It's been a long time coming.
Someone take me home.
we have to get milk, cold water, everything.
Anyway.
So we've come to honestly, we've come to the end. I think we've come to an end. I don't know. I've not come to an end. You should have said. But okay.